Okay. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Okay. Okay, if you all can hear me, then you all just click the like button. Not all the time I actually wear a bit of makeup. Okay. So we just wait for more people to join us, right? So this is our very first live that we are inviting guests. So basically for this month, we'll be doing this Be Live session will be every Friday at 9 p.m. where we will be inviting our guests. So for those of you who don't know me, okay, I'm Aifa Ahmad. So I am the founder for Grandi Wellness Network, and from our very first live, right, we have shared that we will try our best to be more consistent. And again, with the situation right now, the COVID situation, I think a lot of us are mostly at home, right? So, and I've been doing a lot of sessions, mostly for the women. So I'm thinking, hey, why not this month? Let's do something more general. So that means we have men there. Like topics for other genders, like so that means like men, for teenagers, and all. So that's why I decided to invite these few guests for this month. All right. So I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I'm trying out this app thingy to see how I can sitting around with it, right? So I would for this very first guest, as you all know that in the poster. So Azri, I've known him for quite a while, in the outdoor education industry. So I think as we get older and we decide to venture and embark in other things that we decide to do, right? So I think both of us are somehow still in the trading industry, even though we are wearing many hats, playing many roles, but we decide to still do something that really is close to our hearts, right? That's where I'll get him to share more about what he's doing and why he decides to start whatever he's doing, right? So I think without further ado, we shall invite Azri in, shall we? Okay, let me just get him in the stream with us.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, hi,
Okay,
hi.
see how I can.
Yay.
I'm
Okay.
just gonna.
Hello. Hello, Ifa.
Aduh.
Yes. Hi.
Hello, hello, hello.
Pakai makeup say.
Hello. Okay lah. Okay. Let's
Hi.
let's. Yeah lah. So hi, how are you? Thank you for joining me in this live
Yeah.
session. Our very
Thanks
first
for the
one
invite.
together. No problem.
Yeah.
Right,
Can.
before we continue, okay, can I just like invite the whoever that's viewing, okay, to subscribe, like, and share our live feed.
Okay.
Okay, billing.
Like.
Okay. So I think myself and Nazri, we have been doing some collaborated in a few trainings together. Like, I mean, since we decided to do something on our own, right? Yeah. So this play a bit. Yay! Founder of Catalyst. Ta-da!
Hi, hi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for the invite, Ifa.
No, most welcome, right? So I think it's like Good Friday. So I think everybody is maybe chillaxing at home. Hopefully they are mostly at home.
Yes, they should stay at home.
Yes, please stay at home. All
Uh,
right. I think we're already quite. You can see like there's a lot of people that's being getting the COVID and all stuff like that. So I think the government is really putting in a lot of initiative and strategies so that we are it's pretty urgent lah. I think we need to stay at home.
yep.
Right. So hopefully, with today's session, we can maybe you can share a bit about how the husbands can support their wives by doing this. I think in general lah, not just for COVID, but even uh, you know when even after this. So as in terms of generally, because I know that you are pretty something that's close to you that you've been doing. You're supporting the husbands a lot in the community. Yeah, Azri is very very active. He does a lot of things. So he volunteers for a lot of organizations. So sometimes I'm very pening.
Lelaki
Yeah, right. So I think so Azri,
Hmm.
maybe you can share a bit about about both bros and
Sure,
Catholics,
sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah,
Okay, can. Thank you, Aifa.
most
So I think
welcome.
first and foremost, I think I just share or yeah lah, I mean let's make it a very informal session.
Yeah.
So it's just a sharing session. I'm no expert, but I know how some husbands or how some men are very stressed out.
Mm.
2 3 days already, yeah. Okay, anyway, there will be a Q&A chit chat session at the end lah. So if
Yes.
you have any comments or you have any questions, you can just
Mm-mm.
drop them in the comments below.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think first and foremost, let me just share. I think
Mm.
Ifa mentioned that I'm actually running so-called this social platform lah, where we try to support the community as much as possible.
Mm.
So since today's topic is on how we can actually support the husbands can support their wives during this stay home situation. Okay, yeah. So
Mm.
maybe I just share a bit about what I do, and then maybe later on can give you some insights on how we can survive this together, lah.
Sure.
Okay, so maybe I will just run my slides. Let me find my slides.
Okay.
Da-da-da-da. Okay, can.
Okay, is it already screen share? Okay,
Yeah,
let me
screen share.
just put it up.
Can. Is it up?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, wait, give me a moment.
Eh. Okay. Can. Everybody can see the screen, Haifa, okay? Haifa? Okay. I think I'll just continue. So, Haifa can see, Can? Yes? No? Haifa disappeared. Can, Haifa, maybe you give a comment if the feed is okay and that you are receiving this. Haifa. Okay, yes, all good. Alright, so let's proceed. Okay, so welcome to this mini workshop. Okay, basically, I'll just be sharing on some of the things that how we as a household can survive this lah. So I understand that there's some frustrations, there's some sentiments about having to stay home for the next 1 month, and there's bound to be friction. There's also bound to be some resistance. Okay, so I'm no expert, but maybe I can just share with you through some of the experiences that I have talking to couples about these relationship issues, or I will say certain common relationship grievances that we have in our relationships lah. Yeah, I'm using the relationship too much. Okay, so this is just going to be a short workshop lah. So I'm not a marriage counselor, but through my interactions with couples dealing through their births and their experience, I'll just share with you some of the things that is commonly brought up. Okay, so let me just start off with this slide. So yes, marriage is a workshop. But no lah, it's not only when the husband work and the wife shop. This is just a joke that I like to begin off with. But oops. Okay. So oops. Okay, yeah. Alright, so what we are going to cover today is actually a bit of how all of us can slowly get through this together lah. It is different to be able to uh, spend some or half the day to yourself and the other half with your family members, but this is entirely having the whole 24 hours. So this doesn't really just go for yourself and your spouse, but of course it will help you to understand whoever is in your household with you. Okay, so I will title this sharing session as self care for the gentleman. Yeah, so we are not all uh, heart heartless people. So gentlemen are also gentlemen. Okay, so let me first start by too fast. Okay, so self intro time. So my name is Azri. Yeah, but of course some of my friends, actually most of my friends call me Aji for convenience. Yeah. Actually, Catalyst is just a social platform that we started off a few years ago to look into the needs of the community lah. So whenever there's a demand for certain requirement which is not being addressed either on a small scale on a big scale, so we look into working with individual. Sometimes if you want to work with other entities, it can be quite challenging or daunting when you don't have the necessary tools lah. So what we look is we look into resources, community resources, or even personal resources where we can support for you to flourish lah. So maybe if you are self-driven individual who wants to look into entrepreneurship, or you are someone who is keen to do some volunteer work, so we try our best to collaborate so that we can enhance the experience by not competing with each other rather than to collaborate. Yeah, so one of the initiative that I started in 2014 was actually this movement called the Birth Pros lah. Okay, so a bit of history on why Birthro is founded, or why the movement was started, is because in 2014 I was expecting my own uh, firstborn lah. So what happened was, well, as usual when you have your firstborn, a bit of excitement, but then at the same time the fear is there lah, quite real. Yeah, so there was that cluelessness to the point that it makes you very zealous to find out information so as to make your first experience a memorable one. Well, unfortunately, the internet can be quite confusing along with when you're talking and dealing with questions from your peers, or certain practices. So these expectations that you soon have then tend to outweigh the reality of things. Okay, so when I had my first one, I won't say it went well. To me, it did to some extent actually, because to me, two criteria typical. Wife healthy, baby healthy, I happy di. Okay, so I thought I did enough lah. But then, as usual when we do facilitation, we always look into the AAR so called, or the debrief or the review, whatever that we can call it. So while having this conversation with my wife, I mean, I did realize to some extent it was a bit I would say traumatic lah, in that sense for her. It was in a very institutionalized setting, and then everything was being rushed. She was not given the freedom of choice for some of the decisions, and then lah. Rather than make a mistake, so what do we like to do? Just keep quiet one corner and hope for the best. Well, I mean, we invest so much, right? Then we can only try to dream of a desired outcome lah. So unfortunately lah, the translation between my version of success and the version of success for my wife is two different thing lah. Okay, so what happened was, when we were expecting our second one, which was supposed to be due in 2016, but she came out earlier lah. Yeah, so SG50 baby. Yeah, so in 2014, actually just somewhat after the birth of my first one, uh, my wife actually brought up this idea of, hey, why don't we attend a birth class? So, well, I've heard of it during my research, but there's always this thought of, hey, why do I need to go for a birth class? Isn't it for women? Yeah, so I thought, okay lah, since my wife say go, support mah. Okay, so we actually went for a birth class, and then it was held over the couple of weekends, and then that was when I actually met my trainer, who is my mentor until today lah. Okay, so during the birth class, it was quite amazing because you learn concepts, you learn things that which was not made known to you. I mean, yes, we studied bio, we studied science and everything, but then to be able to understand the mechanism of things. Okay, I'm an engineer by training. So for me to see the mechanism of things, it's more tangible for me to comprehend, rather than you talk about emotions, you talk about feelings. Most guys are like that, right? You might say. Yeah, so it was interesting to explore all these elements, like how the body is actually working with you rather than against you, and how we can actually work together with our body to get the desired outcome lah. So at the end of the class, right, that was I thinking, man, I spent so much hours, then somehow I still feel not satisfied. Macam like got something missing, no. So I was thinking, yeah, actually the curriculum quite biased, quite leaning towards the ladies. So I did ask around lah. I read up, tried to find, hey, is there any support groups for men who have a similar mind that I could be knowing more, I can be preparing more. I realized that there was not one. So I asked my trainer lah back then. They say, Kak, that's all lah. Yeah, I literally said that lah to a veteran lah. Not trying to challenge her lah. But then I was just like thinking, no, that cannot be all right. I'm sure something in the curriculum must have been prepared for men or something like that. Then she say, well, G, if you think there's something that should be done, you go look into it lah. So, well, for me, kena challenge until like that. So, of course, I think that, yeah, actually it's quite true lah. So, I actually enrolled myself in two different programs. One is the Childbirth International. To put it simply lah, it's the very angmo way of dealing with birth. And then later on, I also enrolled in another program, which is actually the Amani. So Amani is more on the Islamic aspect. Yeah, so it helps me to understand the spiritual elements of also the birth lah, rather than just to know all the technical things. Because yeah, technical things were covered. Yeah, and then you do want to know more about the other approach, the more holistic approach to things. So after I took these two programs, right, still same lah, still the empty feeling like, then for men leh, not fair, right? Yeah, so you'll be wondering, birth is for ladies, what has it got to do with men? Actually, a lot of things lah. So number one, right, for example, if you really think about it, how much do we know about our consumer rights or our rights as a couple lah? Okay, so let's say you walk into the hospital, then you go see the doctor. Doctor say, how are you today? Oh, doctor, I'm okay. Your test result looks okay. Okay, that's all. That's all. No question for me. No, thank you. Okay, bye-bye. 5 minutes only, or even lesser. Yeah, but most of the clients or most of the couples that I won't call them clients lah. Usually I call them my bros. Hey, bro. Yeah, so they actually walk in. I would say minimum 20-30 minutes discussion with the doctors. So many of us, when you have those couples before you say, walao, you take so long, half an hour talk inside talk what? Because there's so many things that we can actually plan for. So which is why we have all these birth plans, we have certain exercises or massages. So the man, you're not just your assistant to the wife lah. Okay, there's also things that we need to look into the legal aspect of things. For example, crisis intervention. For example, what if you give birth at home? So how do you respond to it? And then what if your wife give birth in the MRT? Does it mean that you get lifetime free MRT service or what? No, right? Yeah, no lah. I mean, besides the point, you need to know what is your legal obligation. Like, how do you go about processing the birth cert, the IC, or no, sorry, not IC, ICA, passport. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we need to prepare for rather than just to make our wife comfortable and basically just follow her whim and fancy lah. Yeah, so that's when I started this birth bro lah, and yeah lah. I would say, fortunately and unfortunately, I also got certified. Yeah, so I'm a certified doula. Yeah, but don't worry, I don't take in female uh, clients directly lah. So usually what Birth Bros is all about is starting this movement, this initiative where we have sessions with the fathers, with the daddies lah. So we sit down, we discuss with them, see what's their comfort level. And it's true what the challenges later that I'll be sharing with you all, it actually reflects on the dynamics of relationship, to make you understand better, like, why do men think this way, why do women react this way, and so on. Yeah, so I'll be sharing more on that lah. So I will not share so much on what Birth Pro is all about, but I am quite privileged to have met couples and be able to share with you a bit on how spouses or husband and wife can actually overcome certain challenges in this COVID situation lah. Okay, sorry, next one. Sorry, my mouse very sensitive, so it keep on scrolling. All right, so before I proceed, I think I just check the comments. Okay, can everything looks okay? Back to the slide. All right, so what we are going to cover later, or I would say what I will share, is some of the common things that I think some of us might hear or we are guilty of saying lah. Even myself maybe so let's see, we try to guess which one we are guilty of lah. Okay, so number one lah. A lot of you, I will say generally society says that, hey, you know, men are not emotionally equipped. Why? Because we are like one solid stone like that, right? Just stand down there, then the face like that one, very serious one. So it's very hard to get through. Neck, also never jalan, right? Then you try to reach out, then also cannot get through, right? Then after that, they just quietly woof away. They say, hey, I thought you were here or not. Never listen. Yeah, waste my time only. And then men, what do they say about women? Yeah, woman too emo lah. See lah, I say one thing, she start crying already. Then I want to talk, so cannot. Make me feel guilty for my advice to her. Want to tell her about something, then she make me feel guilty as if it's my fault. Yeah, so very hard to talk sense to her, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not being biased. I'm just saying what are the common grievances that I hear lah. Okay, if not later I cannot sleep outside tonight. So cannot, because why? All must stay at home. Okay, second thing. I think this is very common. I think for the past 2-3 days, I think a lot of us has unfortunately fallen victim to this, which is the gender bias, the assigned roles in the household lah. So generally, what they say, oh, housework, this one the wife must do one. If your mother-in-law come or your own mother come, she's very stressed. Why? Because the house is supposed to be clean by all the time. So they don't look at the husband, they look at the wife. Why is the house messy? Why your house not clean? Like that. So stressed, right? Then as much as possible, you always say, Ma, PM Lee just say must stay at home. So cannot come. Then the whole house messy. No, yeah, housework is not only for women. Yeah, the same thing also goes for men. They say, hey, B, you say the clock not working, go change the battery. The fan not working, go fix it. The TV, why cannot connect to Wi-Fi? Something like that. So not everything is gender specific. Okay. Yeah, but that's also one of the common things we always hear lah. Okay, number 3. Some people complain. I won't say who. Not me. Not me. Say my spouse too naggy. Loso. I know lah. I know when to do. So naggy. Okay, then the next one will be this one a bit sensitive. Cannot say. But can say, don't worry, because I don't go into obscene stuff lah. Naughty a bit only. Okay, so some of them say, walao, my spouse every time want sex only. Every time want physical intimacy only. I want to ask him do work or ask her do something. Every time touch. Then later, 9 months later, after all this period, right, a lot of people got baby. That one also we'll get to that. Why these things sensitive to some lah. Okay, then the most common one, he doesn't spend time with me. She never pay attention to me. But this period, everybody at home. What do you mean? So the person can be there, right? Like straight. You know, you always say, don't worry, you are in my heart. You're always with me. Don't bluff. Sometimes even beside you, if your spouse is not satisfied, they will always say, never spend time with me. They say, walao, I was sitting down beside you the whole day. What do you mean? We'll get through that later. Okay, then the other one is the one I mentioned lah. This one is bossy and naggy different. Bossy is like macam boss like that. Sit down there, can help me take drink or not? Then take drink. Then water break, sorry. Purposely slide that one in. They say, can help me do this, can help me do that. Not only the man and the woman, actually both guilty lah. So why do people like to ask people to do things for them? And then that one not so bad, because that one quite straightforward, right? The worst one is 1 hour before. Can you help me later go and do this? 2 hours later, the thing still there. What happened? Boom. Then you will say, later lah, can what? Still haven't going to sleep. So why do some of them get worked up? You never say what time what. Men can be quite literal. You just say do, you never say when, you never say how. Then you say they too bossy. Okay. And the last one, I mean not the last topic lah. Some of this is like the top 10 hits. My spouse spend too much money on themselves, on me, even when I'm not asking for it, or their hobbies. So why do some people do that lah? Okay, so these are the common ones. I'm not saying that we are all guilty of this. These are just some of the grievances that I do come across lah. Because when we talk about birth, right, when we talk about being in a state of relaxation or a peace of mind, you need to resolve all these underlying issues. So to some it might be normal lah, old couple already lah, 20 years married, so this type of thing all normal. Actually it's not normal. You just get acclimatized to it, but it doesn't resolve the essence of the things lah. Okay, so I will try to this might be something that you have already know, but I'll just share some more insights on why all these things take place lah. Okay, so when I just check in. Oh yes, can post a question here. Okay, I'll go back to my next slide. Alright, so where do we begin? Ay, alamak, why I always say that one? Sorry. Alright. So I already say disclaimer. I'm not a marriage counselor. I'll just share based on what I've experienced before. Okay, let's start with the first one. So there's that awareness component. So to be in a state of, to have a state of mind where you are at peace with yourself, and if you're at peace with yourself, you definitely be at peace with others lah. You need to have some self-awareness and awareness for others, and when you have that awareness, right, that's where we can really pay attention to the details lah. And at the end of the day, what kind of gesture, what kind of words, what kind of things that we can look towards, in appreciating ourselves and also the others around us lah. Yeah, because you are talking about not just being in a house. Yeah, you can take 10 people, right? You squeeze them in one place, you can call it a house. But if you call something a home is not a bunch of strangers. Home is where, you have your loved ones. So I think before I begin the next exercise, right, you have to ask yourself, currently am I living in a house or am I living in a home? Don't just sing the song, this is home, and then think that you're in a home. No, maybe to yourself lah. But the home is actually the whole units in your your HDB flat or your condo, and asking yourself, is there really a comfort, a place of sanctuary for everyone in the household? Okay, so let's start off with the why this one always happen. Okay, never mind. Now we are at the first one, awareness. Alright, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. Rather I will just put it out. Put it out to you for consideration. It's some of the things that worth to try out lah. Okay, so for example, right, you remember all the challenges that we've been covering before. Okay, so someone, let's say your spouse comes to you, tries to relay a certain problem, a certain issue, a certain concern that they have. What is the problem with communication? They always say, counseling, always tell me one, communication is key. What is communication? Communication is not just about listening. Sometimes, right, you have one person, the other person talk, the person intently listen. 100% can understand the words coming out, but then at the end of the day, still doesn't perform. What do I mean by perform? If A expects B to do something or to respond in a certain manner, although B gets the message, doesn't mean that B can execute it the way A wants it to be. Okay, so for example, if the wife tells her husband to do something, or there's a desired outcome in her head, but if she can just give him a set of instructions and things and all that, but the husband does it anyway, it will not be a success if the wife doesn't feel that he has fulfilled her request. Okay, let me put it this way lah, the simpler way. I have a image in my brain, a certain process or certain thought that I want my wife to do, to carry out. That's my desired outcome, right? I have this very nice ideal picture in my head. So I relay it to my wife. So I tell her, sayang, you do this, like this, idea, this. Okay, can I? I know she will do it. But then along the way, right, if I don't draw out the picture, this scenario that I have inside my head into her, to ensure that she can see the same picture she sees in my head, that's not called communication lah. Because maybe I draw one very nice garden, then at the end of the day she only received the picture of one tree. I will not be happy. Then she will not be happy, because why? She didn't make me happy. She will feel upset. So communication it's really about both of you being able to see, synchronize lah, yeah, as much as possible. Yeah, so that's why I call it that drawing analogy. Okay, then number two, which I like to share with all my couples lah, it always pays to listen to the other person, not because you want to make them happy, but who is the person who knows your content of your heart best, how to satisfy you, how to make you happy. Of course, you lah, right? Yeah. So I will always tell them, why don't you consider, letting this person articulate his words. Yeah. So some people, not only the men, they have problem articulating their thoughts, their needs. Yeah. So ask them for the map. Yeah, because they know the way to your heart. So let them give you the GPS coordinate lah. Go and walk. Go how to navigate properly. Yeah, because sometimes to you, you might think you are doing your best. Yes, you are doing your best, but your best is not their best. Yeah. So how to score point right? Ask them for the marking scheme loh. Ask them how they mark the paper. It's not a checklist but there's a set of ways that to them it's uh, a guideline lah. Okay, I won't say a marking scheme. It's not assessment. Yeah, a guideline. Yeah, so best to check with them, and also for your case same. Let them know if you don't articulate your intention, your thoughts. It will be very challenging for the other person to be able to read your mind. That's why the common line that men always say, "What? I cannot read your mind." Yeah. Okay. So ladies, I know there's a lot of thoughts coming through your head at the moment. Just slow down. Just remember, you spare no details. Relay it nicely to the guys so that they can understand. Okay. So once they are there with you, that's when you are able to get into the rhythm of working together as a team. Okay. It's like the three-legged race lah. If the one leg go left, one leg go right, the center leg don't know want to go where. Okay. All right. Then the third one, whenever you're in a conflict, when you're in dispute, consider this. Is it more important for you to understand their point of view, or is it more important for you to want them to understand you first? Okay. So whenever you're in a fight, there as the missile fly, like fly here, bomb fly there, then you ask yourself, wait, am I arguing because I want him to understand me first, or he must tell me so that I can understand first? Yeah. So automatically, right, if you have decided, then that will really help to direct the discussion, not argument, discussion. Yeah. Because if it's more important for you to be understood, right, then you make sure the other party knows that, hey, can you please get your time to understand me first? Yeah. But then if you think that, okay, maybe for this moment, no, I think I must understand this person first. So take a step back, then try to understand the person first. Okay. So ask yourself, sometimes is it better to understand first, or you want to be understood? Okay. And then, yeah, as I mentioned just now lah, so a marriage, is it that you're working towards a very nice house, or you're working towards a home? Okay, so all right, moving on to the next one. I think I just check in. Hey, hey. Okay, hi everyone. Okay, I shall go back to the slide since I know I'm not talking to myself because I can't hear anything actually. All right, so next one. Alamak, what happened? Wait, Okay. All right, so I know. So I always bully me, one. Okay, so I know you all will be saying like, yeah, this one I got here before, so why I share? Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to repeat the things that you might think you already know. So instead, I will cover the blind spots which I noticed lah. Because whenever I show this side, people can say, yeah, I'm a words of affirmation one. Then my partner is this one. Yes, I know you know. But there are certain blind spots that you all need to identify when you're dealing with such individual. Okay, for those who are very new to this concept, right? Okay, so there's this study lah. A few books have been written about this, about that there are basically 5 core languages that we speak or we project. That means we show when we are trying to relay or receive love lah. Okay, so this is about paying attention to details lah. Sometimes we might not realize. Yeah, so I just cover this. Oh wait, I hear someone talking. Oh, Haifa.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Aji.
Yes.
Are you still showing the slides?
Oh yes, I'm sharing. Wait,
Okay,
am I
can
lost?
you screen share again?
Oh
Once
yeah.
you cannot see the slides, yeah.
Okay. Can see?
Okay, yeah. Wait a minute.
Okay. Sorry. Do I?
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
Okay. I can repeat. Okay.
Okay, let me
Okay,
just see what's it.
so can I?
Yeah, can. You want me to be okay? Yeah, we do have some people here actually in the
Oh,
comments.
can.
Izwan is in from Ahmad Shukri. He actually says, Aji, I think you should move to retail counseling.
Mana? I got more to learn.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah, but I'm happy to share though. And Ahmad, I will always bump into you at KK one. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause that's like my work spot there.
The spot there,
Yeah,
huh? Okay,
yeah.
back to you.
Okay, can. So, wait, can you share the slides? Okay, so I think I just carry on. Please feel free to stop me if I'm going too fast, because yeah, this kind of non-interactive at the moment. Okay, so as I was saying, okay, I was sharing about these five languages of love lah. It's basically how we expect to receive and how we tend to relay these languages. Okay, so for example, right, these five common ones lah. Words of affirmation. I think if you want to read more, the link is actually given there. It's about an individual who is always needing affirmation, appreciation. Yes, they are very good listeners, but we must also take note that this is how these people expect, or they normally uh, assume that people will do a certain way to return the affection for them. Okay, so when you are dealing with someone with words of affirmation, right? Yeah, you need to know that words do carry weight with them. Yeah, so be careful with your choice of words. So, for example, if a passing remark might be a bit critical towards them, yeah, so you don't really just need to know like, hey, I think I'm a words of affirmation lah. Yeah, I like to tell people, hey, good job. I always empathize with others. I always take into account how they are feeling. I'm very tactful with my words. Yes, but it's also the same way that you expect others to behave towards you. So whenever someone doesn't behave in that manner, we need to be able to manage our own expectations lah. So for example, we know that this other person might not be someone who is also the WOA, the words of affirmation kind. Yeah, so we shouldn't be so hard and then penalize ourselves or penalize them in that manner lah. Yeah, so remember the person who is always wanting to touch here, touch there, always offer you massage. You angry only, they will come give you massage, and then they are very physical, intimate. Yeah, this person could be the physical touch. But of course, it's not just physical intimacy, but they just connect better with that human touch, like literally a touch. So now cannot. So this kind of people maybe now they very stressed lah, because cannot touch, right? Because even a simple firm handshake can mean a lot to them. Yeah, so they are the, I would say, the touchy feely one lah. But if they are not feeling good, this is when a hug will comfort them. So whenever there's a attending to a couple, right? Whenever there's a spouse who is the physical touch type, yeah, either one of the five lah. It's very interesting because sometimes some of the men are actually the one with physical touch. No, not because the men are horny, but to them that is their way of showing love. Yeah, so I don't know how to say this nicely lah. Little rated X, no lah. Yeah, so they are the non-verbal kind. So they tend to offer massage, and then if you tell them to do massage, right, they'll be very happy one, because that is the way they are able to show how much you mean to them. Yeah, so some people, when it comes to physical touch, right, they might not really appreciate it, especially during conflict. Can you imagine, you're so stressed, and then you reach out to give this person a embrace or to hold a person's hand. Naturally, do what? Follow drama, right? Pia, I don't want to, don't hold me, don't touch me. Yeah, then these people feel like, walao, why like that one, kena reject. Not only kena school, kena reject. So they feel worse. So again, if you are this physical touch people, right? Yeah, manage your expectations lah. Not every time, you are able to offer solace to someone with a physical touch. Okay, so for those who are dealing with people who are with physical touch, right? I think the most best thing is just to be aware. If you are very particular about being touched, some people want to put a hand on the shoulder and then you're like, so just before you think that you see the hand coming, right? Yeah, you just take a step back. Yeah, so it's better for you to move away rather than to push them away. Yeah, but as much as possible, if you think it doesn't bother you so much, just let them do what they need to do lah. Yeah, and then later on, just sit down there. Even a simple hand on over your hand, I think is good enough to actually let them know that you are ready to reciprocate. Yeah, sometimes it's just about this connection that we need to make lah. So for them, it's just more literal, more physical. Yeah. Okay. I think the receiving gift one is quite straightforward. Yeah, but please don't. I think the misconception here is there are some people when you see this group, right? People always say, "Oh, they are very materialistic. They are very atas. They are very how say they like to burn money one." Actually, not true Okay, so here's the thing about people who are receiving gifts, very good at receiving gifts. Yes, they are. I think if you're a teenager, right, they'll be your favorite one. Because every time give teddy bear lah, every time go somewhere buy something, makes you happy. Okay, but the thing is, if you okay, this is one of the giveaway side lah. I used to have one of the bros start to buy a lot of things. The wife is pregnant, and then he was shopping online. So the wife like quite pissed off lah, like quite picture like that. What every time buy something, buy something, buy something. Then that's number one lah. Buy something, piss her off, right? Then number two, buy something never use. So like sit down one corner, then the wife more stressed. You make the house messy. I've got one baby coming. The house so small. Want to put coat, want to put this. There, all your things are here. Yeah. So why? Okay. So because after a few rounds of session talking to them, then we realized that this guy, he's a gift guy. Yeah, so he wants to buy things for the wife, but because he's the first one, the wife very gung ho one. Buy stroller ready lah, all by herself buy the breast pump lah, buy the cord lah, everything all can buy Carousel. So because she buy everything herself, right, then the husband cannot buy for her lah. Yeah, so what does he do? He still want to give, right? So when they give, they also want to receive. So when he order things, right, to him, he's giving himself. Yeah, so he's basically practicing self-love lah. Yeah, so in that manner, right, he don't really need a retail therapy lah. It's not really retail therapy, but through receiving, right, he somehow feels that he's still connecting. You know, a part of him is still feeling love lah. But actually, the love or the attention that he was craving for is actually from the wife. So when we figured this thing out, right, yeah lah. Fortunately, he no need to sell the things away lah. Yeah, but then it helps so that now the wife is more forthcoming in letting him cover a lot of these things like she might want to prepare for the pregnancy, get him involved in the situation. Yeah, so this is basically communicating lah. All right, so the last two, I think quality time. This one is the one I say neck, but I'm beside you the whole day. Why you say I'm not there? Because even if you're physically there, right, but they know that your mind go elsewhere. Let's say lah, play game, or you say never mind, I'm here, you talk, I hear, but then you are focused on the game. This one also might not sit well with them because why? They need the quality time. Okay, so quality time doesn't mean just physical. If they know that you're spacing out, right, or you like, but then your eye glaze already. Maybe go somewhere else, go Shangri-La or what, then they will know one. Okay, so you need to focus. So if you have a spouse who is a quality time, right, you must stand by. If you know you want to sleep at 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you must stop your activity. Then sit down, try to sleep. Then the moment you want to sleep, then the wife say, hey, how was your day? Then the question come. You don't go bed at 12 midnight, later you talk until 2, 3 a.m. So if you know that your spouse could be that kind, right, so quality time really plays a part. They need that uninterrupted attention. They are not attention seekers. They just want to know that you are genuine about investing the time on them. Yeah, so moments are very good for them. But I'm not talking those people who every time want to take Instagram moment. That one, that one quite narcissistic. That one not really quality time. But these people, they don't care one. Even if it's just the two of you, right? So just spend time together. So what if you are stuck at home and your kids are running around? You cannot lock them up into the room or inside the store and then spend quality time, right? So this is the part where you need to schedule, right? Yes, they got no school tomorrow, but they do have their home-based learning or anything. So set a time lah. So for myself and my wife, so what we have tried since the first one is we practice get them to sleep early. 8 o'clock all conk out already. So that gives us time to spend time and do our things together lah. So I can play game, I can do my thing, so do the chores, do this thing together. So spend quality time with each other. Yeah, I already give it away lah. My wife quality time. Yeah. So this one also I cannot take too long. Later must spend time with her. If not later I must see outside. Just kidding only. Okay. So yeah. Quality time. Distraction wise, don't get distraction and give them all the time that they are comfortably needing lah. So after a while, then they realize that oh, but then this also goes two ways. Yeah, if she's the quality time, but you're not the quality time, right? If you're very restless like me, so you must be conscientious to spare some thought for yeah, and you come to the middle ground, so it's fine. Okay, the last one, acts of service. This one, how do I put it nicely? They are not restless people lah. And they are not very bossy. Remember the bossy one, right? Okay, so this is not nothing to do with bossy lah. They, gestures or deeds are very important to them. So when you talk about, hey, can you help? So they like, yeah, I can. Like hero like that. Everything you ask them, they say yes, they will do for you. Yeah, so they are very much on their deeds. They prove their love or their care for you by doing things. Yeah, so don't think that these people, sometimes in the group context, right, these people might be misunderstood lah. They macam like siao on, or they are like what's another common word lah? I cannot think of it right now lah. Yeah, but these people will always go out of the way to show their concern. Not angkat angkat different. This one is they just like to do things to help people. Yeah, and then the most annoying thing that maybe some don't like is like everything they want to do together. Go toilet together. Or go makan together. Everything I want to do together lah. So some people might not like it lah, because yeah lah, you really so stressed every time see their face. Then after that, everything also want to do together. Yeah, but these people, or these people who see the acts of service, they tend to expect the same of others lah. So for example, let's say now let's say I got a drink, right? If I want, I will ask, right? So in a way that you can show me that you care, but you must also relay your expectation lah. The glass not leaking one, right? Don't you just say, oh, you don't pour the drink for me, that means you don't love me. Yeah. So at the end of the day, these are some of the blind spots that you need to be aware lah. It's how you express, and you should not impose the expectation on your spouse, because they, number one, they might not know what is your language unless you make it known to them, and number two, these traits are not definitive that it will be yours. But what I'm trying to say is everyone has a dominant one. So you need to identify what's your dominant, because that's the way you want to receive. At the same time, that's how you show. Yeah. So if the both of you don't come together and realize this, right, you will always be mismatched, and then you will always conflict, because why? Again, you want to understand first, or you want to be understood first. Yeah. So then that's where this conflict will come lah. Yeah. So some people are a bit more literal lah. You might take more time to recognize this. So okay, let me check any comments. Okay, nope. Then I will continue. Last slide. Okay.
Oh, last slide.
Yeah.
So Isa got a question.
Okay. You want to
Does
answer later or now or later?
Now is it?
Later.
So now it's okay, right?
Now second. Oh, okay, this one.
Nice. Does the love language carries a transference to one another?
Is someone who's saying something?
Someone saying something?
No, I thought I heard something. No? Okay, Iswan. Okay, maybe you want to rephrase in another manner, so that for some of us, what do you mean by the love language carries a transfer to one another? Yeah, I hear a voice. Anyone asking something?
My husband.
Oh,
He's on the Zoom call. Yes. So that's why he can't be here because we need to delegate our tasks.
Okay, so I just want to clarify with Izwan. Are you meaning the transference to be redirected or how? Maybe we just wait for his comment.
Yeah, sure. Can.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, maybe while waiting
Carry on
for
the
Izwan,
last one.
I just cover last one. Okay,
Okay,
am I still sharing? Okay, last one.
So screen
Right.
share. Okay, so share. Give me a moment.
Right.
Uh,
Okay, so I think because to wrap up and summarize what Aifa wants to share for today is, the 3 ways that we can actually support our spouses through this stay home, what SHN, stay home notice. Yeah, now everybody kena stay home notice already. Okay, so I guess what are the 3 things that we can do? I think for the daddies, right? Yeah, you are not used to spending extra time with your kids for some of us lah. Okay, or maybe even just looking through your household and then you are quite lost because usually these are the things that you are not involved in. Okay, let's keep it simple. Okay, so number one, right? I think for the men or for the husbands, right, what we can do is we need to acknowledge our contribution to the household. What do I mean by this? Okay, not going by the gender assigned roles. Maybe you can even ask yourself, okay, what are you most comfortable to do lah? Or maybe something which hey, I'm good at this thing, maybe I should do it out. Yeah, so you need to acknowledge that you have a presence in the household, so you don't feel like a stranger in your own home, or don't expect uh that the things to be carried out because hey, my wife is there, no, I think she can do it. She's not your mom. Yeah, so yeah, we need to also do our part whenever that we can help out. We have to acknowledge the contribution for ourselves and also our spouse lah. So get involved lah. So I think all of us need to be appraised. Need to be equipped to appraise situations at home. So for example, like if something happens, who is the best person to respond to this? Well, if you have a spouse who is a quality time, then she's preparing lunch. I think the simple thing is you can just stay in the kitchen, then try to help out, not kepo. Kepo means you just see, look, then you still want food, then you run away. Just try to see, how you can help. Just be involved. If not, just try. If let's say your partner or your spouse is the one who is requiring your assistance, where she requires you to do something, remember the action or the deeds. Yeah, so it's a time for you to show some excitement or show some enthusiasm lah when you're carrying it out. Yeah, so sometimes we need to take a step back and ask yourself that am I seeing what I want to see, what I need to see? Yeah, because sometimes you might think that, hey, you always ask me to do things, but probably for them this is how they want us to get involved. So if you are looking for ideas on how to engage your kids, there's a lot of online resources, which if you want I can share in the comments later. But one of the things that is always helping to initiate so-called fathers to be more involved would be organizations such as That's for Life, or there are some online resources which they want more daddies to spend more time. So this is a chance, you got 1 month. Yeah, if you have more ideas, you can just follow my Facebook. Yeah, I always post a lot of things that you can do, interesting things. So for one example, I just shared recently is so what can we do at home, right? Yeah, especially for science lesson. Actually not difficult lah. You just go downstairs, right? Bring one Tupperware. Yeah, then you just catch any random thing that you see. Of course, not a cat. You cannot put inside Tupperware lah. Maybe you see, got small grasshopper. Then you just catch inside. So borrow, don't catch, just borrow, later you release. Yeah, so you put inside the Tupperware, right? Don't forget to poke hole lah. Then after that you bring, and then you tell your kids, hey, this is a grasshopper. Yeah, then of course you can do drawing. Then you can tell them a bit of science, biology things that you can do. Then after you finish, then release outside, not release inside the house. Yeah, so simple things like this. If you need ideas, there's a lot of things now that a lot of fathers are sharing everywhere. Yeah, so ultimately it's about embracing the role that best suits you, because there's a reason why you are with your spouse. Each of you complement each other, so instead of trying to compete with each other for dominance, or trying to compete to see that, hey, no, you should do this, I should do that. Yeah, so you all should just say, hey, I'm good at this. I'm good at laundry, so maybe you should leave that to me, or you can just do it everything together. So it's all about taking ownership. When you learn to take ownership of things, that's when things doesn't seem so troublesome lah, right? Because you want to do it, right? So that's what I also aim for all the daddies that I meet in the birth bros lah, because when they are so invested in carrying out the birth, or they are part of the process pre, post, or even during the pregnancy and the birth itself, no, they all the wives say one. My husband, I don't need to tell him one. He only he will automatically know what to do, because why you take ownership is because you're invested in it. Yeah. So same thing, if you think that this is your household, you want to make it work, so we need to invest whatever we can into it, not just financially lah. Okay, I think more than ever, this is a chance for us to spend time with our family, and we should make the best of it lah. Yeah. So we should enable the gentlemen to give them a sense of ownership. So for the mummies or the wives, if you have any concerns, or you have any you want any tips, right? Sure, just put in the comment lah. Hopefully I can take my time to answer them one by one. Okay, Aifa, I think I'm done. Thank you for letting me share. I think I will just stop sharing. How do I do that? Oh no.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Haji. Okay, Izwan has
Okay.
commented.
Yes.
Okay, how does it impact one another, and how does it influence one another? How does it impact one another? It's for the couples lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I should
For
ignore
the
the voice behind. I should
yeah,
just.
ignore the sound in the back.
Okay. Okay, Ivan. Thank you for your question. So you are asking, does the love language, carry a transference to one another, in the sense that does it impact one another, or how does it influence one another? Still not specific. Still quite ambiguous. Okay, when you say one another, does it you mean the traits affect one another, or you are referring to the spouse one another? Yes. Don't worry, I'm waiting. Oh, hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so if you have any questions, just comment with the comment box there or there or there. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Izwan. Okay, let's wait for Izwan to comment. How does the traits affect one another? So transferring meaning, is there an overlap, is it? Yeah. Okay. So okay, never mind. I think while waiting for Izwan, I'll just answer. Alright, so for this love language, right, it's not hello? Waiting to go live. Am I live? Hi, Fa. Am I still on?
Yes. Okay.
Am I still on?
Apologies on the connection. Yes.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
hear me?
Can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think I'll just answer Izwan's question. So, all right. So the thing that we need to understand, right? The love languages is not fixed.
Give
Okay.
me a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a moment. Seems that we are not in Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a connection problem. Yeah, because Z is on Zoom also. That's why. Yeah. That's why the connection hilang.
Yep. I think because I am also tuned into the live and it's stuck on one screen.
I see. Cik ada eh?
Yep.
I see.
Sayang. Don't answer. Video call. Oh, connection is fine. I thought they say connection is fine. Okay, never mind. I just answer in the comments until Aifa can. Can?
So I don't have the luxury because waiting is an ID with this SDF bank to so yeah, so no point.
Go Facebook lah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, totally first.
Okay, never mind. Then I will just reply to Izwan in the comment lah.
Yeah, okay.
Ah,
Okay, just comment there lah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, understand. So yeah, just aku let you know kalau I think because she's like you keep asking me.
Can you hear us, Zahra? Oh, still in eh? Ah, okay. Because the connection suddenly lost. Okay, we can still be heard as we.
Oh, yeah, because Izwan say we can still see and hear you. Okay, anyway, I just shared on. Gone again. Okay, never mind. Okay, I think
His voice. Okay, we are bringing Azri. Okay, Azri, hello.
hi. Oh, yeah. Now we're back. Yeah. Okay, so sorry. Yeah, I think. Okay, so Izwan was asking like does the trait carry a transference to one another? Actually, it depends on the situation or the milestone that you are currently at which stage or you are in your life lah. Yeah, so it's not say a fix like you are born with a fixed set like you have this one trait that it carries on all the way until your old age. No, I think what matters is we can identify
So
common, the
face,
common one that
face and one
relate to
is
at
your
that point. So for example,
company face
if
one
you
or your company.
yeah, you could be changing or you could be transiting lah. Like what Izwan is asking, there's that transference. Yes, sometimes
CCC or CCC?
having a bit of both, or maybe but you will always have that one dominant trait lah. So it's very hard to say that one hard and fast rule. But if you are, I think what I intended just now is if you are able to identify yours and your spouse at that point, or maybe probably during this crisis, you have identified that that this particular you are exhibiting or your spouse is exhibiting. So it's good to take note and to respond in such lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then any other questions that I can share?
Understand.
If I it's okay lah. I mean, if let's say, yeah,
I will try to see if I can open up.
I think I just stay
I will
tuned
try
to
to see
this. So if they
and
have any questions, they can just direct it over there. How's it speaking? So it's good to questions, they can just direct it over there.